the more you learn, the more you realize, the less you know.
If you are highly intelligent, there is one thing you need to understand. This world was never built for you. Right now, you are trapped inside a system designed for the average mind. A system that rewards mediocrity, punishes independent thought, and suffocates anyone who thinks too fast, too deep, or too differently. That frustration you feel every day, it's not in your head. The constant boredom, the shallow conversations, the way people dismiss your ideas or can't keep up, the feeling that you're always waiting for something bigger, but it never comes. This isn't just bad luck, it's a deliberate design. The truth is, intelligence is not rewarded. It's seen as a threat to a system that survives by keeping people distracted, compliant, and unaware of their own power. But today, that ends. In this video, you will discover exactly why you feel trapped, why intelligent people are secretly held back, and most importantly, the precise steps to escape. But if you miss even one part, you will remain stuck in the very system that was built to control you. Let's begin. If you have ever felt like you are living in a world that is dumbing itself down, you are not imagining it. You are watching it happen in real time. Society is becoming more simplistic, more shallow, and more obsessed with meaningless distractions than ever before. Because you are experiencing something known as the idiocracy effect, the feeling of being surrounded by a world that was not built for deep thinking, innovation, or intellectual growth. This term is inspired by the 2006 film Idiocracy, where the world becomes so dumbed down over time that intelligent people become an endangered species. The movie was supposed to be satire, but in reality, it was a warning. And that warning is now playing out in front of us. This is not just an observation. It's a scientifically measurable, society-wide collapse of intelligence. Every decade, people think less, react more, and question nothing. And here's the terrifying part. If you don't recognize what's happening and actively escape it, it will consume you too. Attention spans are shrinking like glaciers in July, and it's not an accident. Society rewards people for being easily distracted, emotionally reactive, and incapable of deep thought. Remember when people used to actually read books? Now most can barely focus on a 30-second TikTok without getting bored. This is not just about entertainment. It is a psychological war. Journalism once required research and credibility. Now, headlines are engineered to spark outrage, while facts are optional. Education used to be about knowledge. Now, it's about test scores, conformity, and memorization without comprehension. This is why society is collapsing into stupidity. Because deep thought requires time and effort. And a population that stops thinking is a population that is easy to control. And if you've ever found yourself screaming internally while watching a conversation go completely off the rails, congratulations, you've encountered the death of logic. We now live in a world where facts don't matter, only feelings do. People don't seek truth, they seek validation. People don't want logic, they want emotional comfort. People don't process information, they react to headlines. And here's the real danger. Once emotional thinking replaces logical thinking, it becomes almost impossible to undo. This is why modern debates resemble high school cafeteria arguments, with people yelling over each other instead of listening. It's why decisions are made based on outrage, not wisdom. And it's why you feel like an alien every time you try to have a real discussion. Because you're not just dealing with uninformed opinions, you're dealing with people who have been programmed not to think. Here is the most painful truth you will ever hear. Most people do not want to be intelligent. You assume that everyone would rather be wise, aware, and independent, but they wouldn't. Because intelligence requires effort. It's easier to scroll mindlessly than read deeply. Uncertainty. It's easier to believe a simple lie than accept a complex truth. Accountability. It's easier to blame others than take responsibility. The majority of people choose comfort over intelligence every time. That's why society caters to the lowest common denominator. Movies get dumber because studios only care about what sells to the broadest audience. Schools get weaker because the system wants obedient workers, not independent thinkers. And because mass stupidity always spreads faster than intelligence, this process cannot be reversed. But this isn't just annoying, it's a direct threat to your mind, your success, and your future. If you are highly intelligent, you are at extreme risk, because society will try to drag you down in 3 ways. 1. Your environment shapes your thinking. If you are surrounded by low-level conversations and emotional decision-making, your brain will start to operate on that frequency. 2. You become exhausted by constant friction. Every time you try to explain a concept that should be obvious, you will lose energy and motivation. 3. You start lowering your standards just to fit in. Instead of seeking mental stimulation, you start accepting mindless distractions. And once you get pulled into this cycle, it is almost impossible to escape. Because the world runs on averages. The majority of people operate at an IQ of around 100, while you might be at 130, 140 or beyond. That may not sound like a big gap until you realize this. The difference between you and the average person is as massive as the gap between the average person and someone who is clinically impaired. This is why the world feels painfully slow to you. While others struggle to grasp step 1, you've already mapped out the next 5 moves. You see solutions before most even recognize the problem. But here's the shocker. Society will never admit this gap exists. Instead, they'll call you impatient, arrogant, or awkward. Not because you're wrong, but because you don't fit the system designed for the masses. And from an early age, you were likely told that intelligence was a gift, that being smart would open doors, that it would make life easier. Yet, as you grew up, you may have noticed something strange. Your intelligence often isolates you rather than empowers you. Instead of feeling ahead, you feel alone. Instead of being admired, you are misunderstood. Instead of leading, you are forced to slow down for the people around you. And no one ever told you this would happen. This is because the world does not reward intelligence directly. It rewards intelligence that is used in ways that serve the majority. If your intelligence questions the system, disrupts existing structures, or challenges authority, it is seen as a problem. If it fits neatly into a corporate role, a political strategy, or an industry's needs, then it is rewarded. But the harsh truth is that intelligence alone is useless if it is not leveraged correctly. And most high IQ individuals never learn how to do this. The higher your intelligence, the more likely you are to experience frustration in everyday life. You struggle to find people who think on your level. You get bored with repetitive jobs that others seem fine with. You notice inefficiencies everywhere, yet people resist change. This is why highly intelligent individuals often face chronic boredom because the world moves too slowly. Difficulty forming deep connections because most people cannot relate to how they think. A sense of frustration because their ideas are often dismissed. Mental exhaustion because they are constantly suppressing their natural instincts to fit in. This frustration can lead to 2 common outcomes. Some people dull their intelligence just to fit in, playing along with the system despite knowing it is broken. Others withdraw entirely, choosing isolation over frustration, which leads to loneliness and a sense of disconnection from society. But there is a third option, and it is the only real solution. Stop trying to adapt to a world that does not work for you. Instead, learn how to build a reality that does. Because if you do not control your intelligence, the system will control it for you. It will place you in a role that benefits others more than it benefits you. It will make you feel guilty for thinking differently. It will convince you that your frustrations are personal rather than structural. But once you realize that you do not have to fit into the world's mold, everything changes. You stop looking for validation from people who cannot see what you see. You stop wasting time trying to make slow systems work faster. You start creating an environment that matches your intelligence instead of constantly lowering yourself to match the average. The most powerful thing you can do as a highly intelligent individual is take control of how your mind is used. When you do that, intelligence stops feeling like a curse and becomes the greatest advantage you could ever have. But how do you do that? First, you have to understand that the entire system isn't just flawed. It is designed to suppress intelligence. If you have ever felt like the world is actively working against you, that's because it is. But this is not a conspiracy theory. It's a reality that has been observed and documented in books like The Curse of the High IQ by Aaron Clarey. Clarey's book exposes something that most intelligent people feel but can't quite articulate. The world is optimized for the majority. And that means people like you, who think faster, analyze deeper, and challenge the status quo, are often seen as a threat rather than an asset. Society does not run on innovation, disruption, or even intelligence. It runs on stability. And stability requires obedience, not intelligence. From education to employment to media, the system is built on one simple truth. The majority must be controlled in order to maintain order. And that means outliers, especially intelligent ones, must be silenced, slowed down, or redirected. This is why. Ever wonder why schools push memorization over real thinking? It's by design. You were never taught how to think, just what to think. Because a system that rewards blind obedience is easier to control. Remember that one kid in class who questioned the teacher, poked holes in the textbook, or asked, "Why do we even need this?" They weren't encouraged, they were punished, labeled as disruptive or difficult. Maybe that was you. Maybe you learned the hard way that standing out gets you slapped down. Now look at the corporate world. Ever had an incompetent boss? Of course you have. The guy who barely does anything, kisses up to the right people, and somehow gets promoted while the actual thinkers, the problem solvers, the innovators, get overlooked or even fired. It's because companies don't want brilliance. They want compliance. Ever noticed how the ones who ask the tough questions get labeled as troublemakers or not a team player? That's not an accident. The system doesn't reward intelligence, it suppresses it. And then there's the media. Remember when TV used to challenge you? When news actually made you think? Now it's 24/7 distractions, reality TV, celebrity drama, and fear-mongering headlines designed to keep you angry, afraid, and too mentally exhausted to question anything real. You come home from work drained, turn on the news, and what do you get? A cycle of outrage, distractions, and division, keeping you entertained but never empowered. Ask yourself, why do they want you distracted? Why do they make critical thinking a liability instead of a skill? Why do they reward the obedient and punish the brilliant? When you begin to notice this, it explains a lot. It explains why many gifted individuals feel frustrated in corporate jobs. It explains why mainstream conversations feel painfully shallow. The more intelligent you are, the more you naturally see the flaws in the system. And the system does not like being questioned. If you feel stuck, it is not an accident. The system has 3 major tactics to suppress intelligence and keep you from realizing your true power. Tactic 1. Misdirection, keeping you distracted from the truth. The easiest way to keep an intelligent person powerless is to keep them occupied with meaningless problems. Schools force intelligent students to focus on standardized tests instead of developing real-world skills. The corporate world keeps intelligent employees busy with endless bureaucracy, meetings, and repetitive tasks. The media floods your mind with gossip, politics, and entertainment designed to consume your attention. By keeping you busy with low-level distractions, the system prevents you from focusing on high-level thinking, personal development, and power acquisition. Tactic 2. Psychological warfare, making you doubt yourself. If distraction fails, the system's next move is to convince you that you are the problem. If you are bored, you are labeled as unmotivated. If you question authority, you are labeled as difficult. If you see inefficiencies, you are told to be patient. Rather than allowing you to embrace your intelligence, society pathologizes it. It convinces you that your frustrations are a sign of personal failure, rather than an unavoidable result of being a high IQ individual in a low IQ world. This is why so many intelligent people experience imposter syndrome, social isolation, and even depression. They are taught to blame themselves rather than recognize the system for what it is. Tactic 3. Economic control. Making you dependent. Even if an intelligent person sees through the distractions and overcomes self-doubt, there is still one last layer of control: money. If you are constantly worried about paying rent, you will not have time to build wealth. If you are drowning in student debt, you will be forced into a career you don't enjoy. If you rely on a steady paycheck, you will think twice before taking risks or challenging authority. Financial dependence is the ultimate tool of control. This is why the richest and most powerful individuals in history have always built their own systems, rather than working within someone else's. Once you understand the 3 layers of control: distraction, self-doubt, and financial dependence, you can begin to escape the trap. But here's the truth that no one will tell you. You cannot change the system. You can only outgrow it. The system will always be built for the majority. That will never change. The real question is, will you keep fighting to fit into a world that was never meant for you? Or will you learn to build a life that matches your intelligence? The most successful, powerful, and fulfilled people in history did one thing differently. They stopped trying to win a rigged game and started playing by their own rules. Because for your entire life, you have been fed one massive, destructive lie. It is so deeply ingrained in society that most people never question it. It is repeated in schools, reinforced by the media, and even passed down by well-meaning parents. And if you don't break free from it, you will spend your entire life playing small, doubting yourself, and settling for far less than you're capable of. Here it is. If you just work hard and follow the rules, you will be successful. Why this lie is the most dangerous trap ever created. This belief is one of the most effective mental prisons ever designed. It keeps people stuck in a cycle of waiting, obeying, and accepting less than they deserve. If you have ever wondered why, people with less talent and intelligence seem to be more successful than you. You feel like you're constantly waiting for the right moment but never feel truly ready. No matter how hard you work, you never seem to get ahead. It's because you have been conditioned to follow a script that was never designed to make you powerful. The truth is, success is never about working harder. It's about working smarter, understanding leverage, and knowing how to control systems instead of being controlled by them. This belief, work hard, follow the rules, and you'll be rewarded, only benefits one group of people: those who are already in power. The reality is, the most successful people in history didn't work the hardest, they worked the smartest. The most powerful people never followed the rules, they created new ones. The wealthiest people didn't wait for permission, they built their own paths. But the system can't function if too many people realize this. It needs a predictable, obedient workforce. So from a young age, you are taught to follow instructions, not think for yourself. Respect authority even when it makes no sense. Seek approval rather than trust your own instincts. This conditioning is why so many highly intelligent people struggle to break free, even when they see the trap. They are mentally chained to a belief system that convinces them they must wait their turn, work harder, or prove themselves before they can truly live life on their own terms. Look at history. The people who changed the world were never the ones who waited for permission. They weren't the ones who just followed the rules and hoped for the best. For example, Steve Jobs dropped out of college and built one of the most valuable companies in the world. So this is what you must do. The people who escape this mental prison all do 3 things differently. Step 1. They stop seeking permission. If you are waiting for someone to validate you, approve your ideas, or tell you that you are ready, you will wait forever. The world only takes you seriously once you take yourself seriously. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to discover you. The only way out is to act without permission. Step 2. They focus on leverage, not hard work. Hard work alone does not create success. Leverage does. The wealthiest, most successful people understand how to make money, influence, and ideas work for them. Instead of trading time for money, they build systems that generate income, influence, and opportunities. Step 3. They rewrite their own rules. Stop playing by the old rules. The traditional paths to success, college, climbing the corporate ladder, waiting for promotions, are outdated. If you want freedom, you must build your own systems, create your own opportunities, and design a life that works for you, not one that was designed to keep you small. The moment you stop believing the lie that hard work and obedience will save you, your entire reality changes. But here's the real game changer. Once you break free from this lie, you need a new strategy. The next step is understanding exactly how to leverage your unique strengths, build unstoppable momentum, and rewrite the rules in your favor. And we often celebrate intelligence as the ultimate gift, something that opens doors, guarantees success, and sets people apart. But what if the very thing meant to empower you becomes the greatest weight you'll ever carry? High intelligence isn't just about potential. It's a relentless demand for perfection, a silent expectation that every move, every thought, must be calculated and flawless. One mistake can feel like a personal failure, an unbearable flaw in the grand design of your own mind. And that pressure, it never lets up. And here's the real twist. Intelligence doesn't just elevate you, it isolates you. Society glorifies intelligence in theory, but in practice, it's a double-edged sword. Media loves the misfit genius stereotype. Think of every smart character in movies, always a socially awkward outcast, a quirky recluse, or an emotionally detached mastermind. These portrayals cement the idea that intelligence must come at the cost of human connection. The world is fascinated by brilliance, but only when it's wrapped in eccentricity or arrogance. If you don't fit the mold, your intelligence is either ignored or dismissed as intimidating. Families can be another battlefield. It's not uncommon for highly intelligent children to feel like they exist in a different world, misunderstood by the very people who raised them. Some are burdened with unfair expectations, treated as a family problem solver from a young age, while others are resented for making relatives feel inadequate. Intelligence, instead of being a unifying force, often becomes an invisible wedge that drives people apart. Even friendships aren't immune to this divide. When your mind constantly craves deeper conversations, philosophical debates, or intellectual exploration, casual small talk can feel exhausting. Not everyone shares that same hunger for knowledge, and over time, the disconnect grows. The excitement of discovery turns into quiet loneliness when you realize very few people truly understand how your mind works. Despite these challenges, or maybe because of them, highly intelligent individuals find ways to adapt. They seek out spaces where their depth isn't just tolerated but celebrated. Online communities like Philosophical Essence become a refuge, a rare place where thoughts don't need to be filtered for mass consumption, where complexity is welcomed rather than shut down. In a world that rewards conformity, these spaces become a lifeline, a sanctuary where real conversations happen, where you don't have to shrink yourself just to fit in. Intelligence is often compared to a lighthouse, brilliant, unwavering, and guiding others through the dark. But even lighthouses stand alone, isolated by the very light that makes them impossible to ignore. And we're told from a young age that some people are simply born to succeed, that intelligence, power, and strength are fixed traits granted to a select few. This lie has shaped the world more than we realize, holding millions back from their full potential. It's the invisible force that keeps people in their place, making them believe they weren't meant for more. But what if everything you've been taught about success is designed to keep you powerless? High intelligence isn't just a gift. It's a burden of expectations, isolation, and hidden struggles that most people never see. It's like being given a supercomputer for a brain, but no instruction manual. You process information faster, see hidden connections, and anticipate problems before they arise. But that same mental power can make the world feel suffocating. You're overanalyzing every detail while others move through life unaware. And worst of all, society doesn't even recognize this as a struggle. The world romanticizes intelligence, but quietly resents it. We love the idea of a genius, until that genius challenges the status quo. Media and entertainment paint intelligence as a lonely, awkward curse, reinforcing the idea that smart people can't be normal. Look at movies. The genius is always an outcast, a weirdo, or a tortured soul. Never just a capable, well-adjusted person. Why? Because a society that truly valued intelligence would encourage people to think for themselves, and that would be a threat to those in power. And it's not just in media. Families, workplaces, and even schools are structured to suppress intelligence rather than nurture it. Intelligent children are either overburdened with responsibilities or ignored because they intimidate others. In many families, being the smart one means you're expected to fix everyone's problems. Yet when you struggle, no one knows how to help you. Workplaces are no different. The corporate world thrives on obedience, not brilliance. Hierarchies reward those who fit in, not those who challenge the system. You're told to be innovative, but step out of line. And you'll quickly see how much true intelligence is actually welcomed. Promotions often go to those who play the game, not those who actually bring solutions. Even education systems, designed to cultivate intelligence, are built to standardize thinking, not encourage it. Schools prioritize memorization over problem solving. Creativity is graded lower than conformity. The students who ask too many questions are labeled disruptive, while those who follow instructions without question are praised. The result? People grow up believing in limits that don't actually exist. Society convinces us that only a rare few are meant to succeed, when, in reality, the difference between those who make it and those who don't is almost never intelligence, but belief. So why do so many accept this lie? Because the world is structured to make you doubt your own power. We're bombarded with stories of prodigies, superhumans, and once-in-a-generation minds, making it seem like success is reserved for the chosen few. But here's the truth. History is full of people who shattered those illusions. Many of the greatest leaders, inventors, and revolutionaries weren't born into greatness. They refused to believe they were powerless. They challenged what they were told about themselves, unlearned the lies, and built their own paths. And the same is possible for you. The first step? Dismantle the belief that intelligence or success is predetermined. Intelligence is not a magic trait, it's a resource. The more you nurture it, the more powerful it becomes. That's why real success doesn't come from being gifted, but from relentless curiosity and adaptability. The education system needs to change. Instead of punishing mistakes, it should reward problem-solving and curiosity. Schools should emphasize how to think, not just what to think. Imagine a world where failing wasn't a source of shame, but proof that you're learning and improving. The workplace should reward creativity over conformity. Companies that foster true innovation will dominate the future, leaving behind those that cling to outdated corporate obedience. It's time to stop glorifying hierarchy and start rewarding those who actually push humanity forward. The media needs to stop pushing fairy tales of effortless genius and start showing real success stories. Stories of struggle, persistence, and growth. People need to see that greatness isn't granted. It's built, step by step, through effort and resilience. But most importantly, individuals must break free from self-imposed limitations. If you've ever felt that you weren't meant for success, ask yourself, who taught you that? And more importantly, why did they want you to believe it? Because here's the biggest secret of all. Strength and power aren't about what you're born with. They're about what you decide to become. The people who shape the world aren't necessarily the smartest or the most gifted. They're the ones who refuse to accept the limitations placed on them. And another hurdle is the pressure of expectations. High intelligence often brings high expectations from family, peers, and oneself. There is the pressure to always be right, to always succeed. This burden can lead to severe stress and anxiety. Failure becomes a shadow that threatens every achievement, every decision. Any misstep is viewed with greater scrutiny than others would face. It's an endless loop of needing to prove one's worth, leading to self-doubt and intense dissatisfaction. Perfectionism is a common trait seen in very intelligent individuals. The desire to excel can morph into an unhealthy obsession with flawlessness. But the reality is, no one can be perfect. This chase for perfection leads to procrastination, as the fear of not achieving it becomes overwhelming. Projects are started and abandoned, dreams dreamt but never pursued, all tangled up in the fear of imperfection. There's also the burden of overthinking. High IQ individuals tend to deeply analyze situations or decisions, often spinning endless webs of possibilities and outcomes. This complex web makes decision-making excruciatingly difficult. Simple choices are turned into monstrous dilemmas in the mind, making action feel almost paralyzing. This constant analysis leads to more stress and can hinder taking needed actions. Emotional intelligence can sometimes lag behind intellectual intelligence, creating an imbalance. While intellect helps to quickly grasp facts, emotions flow at their own pace. This can make personal relationships challenging. Misunderstandings arise when emotions are analyzed like logical puzzles. Feelings are not equations to solve. They require empathy and patience, qualities sometimes overshadowed by intellect. It doesn't help that those around often expect emotional maturity to match intellect, adding another layer of frustration. Intelligent people often grapple with existential worry, constantly questioning life's meaning. This search for understanding can lead to dissatisfaction with mundane aspects of daily life. The disparity between what is and what could be creates a gap, breeding restlessness. The mind seeks purpose and fulfillment, often feeling trapped in a world that doesn't live up to its aspirations. Then there's the challenge of focus. With a mind that constantly generates ideas, attention can be scattered across too many interests. Prioritizing becomes a battle. The hunger for knowledge can be insatiable, yet there's never enough time. Starting many projects with few resolutions is common. When focus is divided, productivity suffers, and this cycle often leaves a feeling of accomplishment out of reach. In a society that often prioritizes fitting in, those with high intelligence face pressure to conform. This can lead to downplaying their abilities, a struggle between maintaining authenticity and seeking acceptance. Suppressing one's true self for the sake of inclusion leads to an identity crisis, further deepening the feeling of being lost. Interestingly, many people of high intelligence find comfort in creative outlets, whether it's writing, painting, or composing music. These activities offer a way to express the complex emotions and thoughts that might not easily translate in daily interaction. Creativity becomes a sanctuary, a place where ideas are not limited and where expressions are not judged. Despite these challenges, it's important to recognize the incredible potential of intelligence. Finding balance, community, and purpose can transform these challenges into strengths. It's about learning to manage this rich, powerful tool and harness its energy positively. Engaging with others, finding meaningful projects, and acting with compassion can pave a path to fulfillment. Instead of seeing intelligence as a solitary burden, it becomes a shared journey of growth and understanding. Many believe that intelligence alone is the cornerstone of success. Yet countless intelligent individuals find themselves trapped in lives that feel mundane and unfulfilled. While we admire the analytical minds and their value, it's important to question whether intelligence is truly the defining pillar of greatness. Unbeknownst to many, the ultra-successful often hold a secret that goes beyond the measured ability of their IQs. This secret resides in a mastery over energy, both physical and mental. Energy control is a powerful but often overlooked tool. Ultra-successful people understand the significance of managing their energy effectively. Let's start with physical energy. Maintaining vitality and physical health is foundational. This involves daily routines aimed at improving physical capabilities. Regular exercise, nutritious diets, and adequate rest are indispensable. The body thrives on routine. With the right balance, physical energy becomes a fuel for productivity and creativity. Mental energy, on the other hand, demands sharper discipline. Those who reach heights of success are often adept at guarding their mental space. Distractions are minimized, a practice that clears the path for laser focus. Cognitive resources are channeled toward tasks that matter most. It's about setting boundaries, knowing when to say no, and understanding that our time and attention deserve protection. An equally crucial aspect lies in emotional energy. Our emotions are powerful forces that can either propel us forward or hold us back. By nurturing emotional resilience, the ultra-successful maintain balance through daily challenges. They practice gratitude and emphasize positivity, which helps in fostering strong relationships and creating supportive environments. These environments act as fertile ground for new ideas and ventures. Equilibrium is key. The ultra-successful know that these three energies, physical, mental, and emotional, must work harmoniously. They cultivate habits to maintain this alignment, considering it necessary for achieving their goals. Any imbalance can lead to a cascade of inefficiency, so they routinely assess and adjust their lifestyles to maintain harmony among their energies. Moreover, understanding one's natural rhythms can be a game changer. For some, peak performance comes in the morning, while for others, inspiration might strike at night. Identifying these rhythms helps in scheduling the most demanding tasks during times of high energy, ensuring effectiveness and reducing stress. Part of energy control is also about conserving energy for what truly matters. The ultra-successful are conscious about where and how they expend their effort. They prioritize tasks that align with their bigger vision and delegate or discard ones that don't. This doesn't mean avoiding hard work. Instead, it's about choosing battles wisely and investing in outcomes that bring value. The underlying thread connecting these practices is awareness. Awareness of one's patterns, strengths, and weaknesses allows for better decision-making and improved personal growth. This self-awareness leads to greater understanding and mastery over personal energy reserves, forming the crux of sustained success. This secret code of energy control is deeply embedded in the lives of the ultra-successful, setting them apart. Renowned entrepreneurs, artists, and leaders don't just focus on what they do, but also on how they manage their energy to do it. They repurpose what might seem like mundane routines into a purposeful strategy for bringing their ambitions to life. So, when we consider how intelligence connects to success, we need to expand our view. Intelligence provides the tools, but controlling energy determines how effectively those tools are used. As many cherished icons have demonstrated, understanding and commanding your energy, rather than reacting to it, opens the door to achievement. Perhaps the real measure of success is not just about intelligence or luck, but a well-guarded secret way of living, aligned with a comprehensive approach to managing energy. This is the cornerstone that builds lives of meaning and purpose, beyond what we are taught in schools or traditional paths to success suggest. It's an empowering realization that each of us holds the potential to adapt these principles. By acknowledging the profound connection between controlling energy and achieving our dreams, we uncover a more profound expression of our potential and capabilities. In stepping into this consciousness, we don't just pursue success, we redefine it. Society often teaches us to follow a set path, study hard, get a degree, land a stable job, and climb the corporate ladder. Yet if you truly want to create a reality that aligns with your intelligence, it's essential to break free from this mold. Stepping out of this pre-designed path can lead to the fulfillment you seek, but it requires courage and a new mindset. Picture this. The world is a game, one you have been trained to play. The rules have been made by people no different from you. They wrote them based on what worked in another era. But you have something unique, your intelligence. And in many ways, you are at a table, crafting your life. Your intelligence can be your compass in a game that's constantly changing. Begin by recognizing the value you bring, your skills, insights, and ideas. Yet many are hesitant to break away because they fear failure or feel trapped by societal expectations. The truth is, it's possible to pivot towards possibilities that resonate more with who you are. Often the hardest part is taking that first leap away from the familiar. Consider the nature of systems. Systems are designed to keep things in order, often favoring predictability over creativity. Being within such systems can feel like being in a cocoon where every move is controlled. To escape, cultivate the mindset of a trailblazer, not just a follower who sticks to the script. Think of what drives you. Passion is the fuel that can power your journey to self-created reality. It's about identifying what makes you excited to get up every morning. Your unique intelligence is your toolkit, capable of building something remarkable, but only if it's given the chance to work freely. To do this, understand the concept of risk and reward. Great innovators are often those who are willing to take calculated risks. It doesn't mean acting recklessly. Rather, it involves assessing potential outcomes and making informed decisions. Use your analytical mind to weigh options and choose paths that others may overlook. Networking, too, is foundational. Surround yourself with people who inspire and challenge you. These are individuals who have either walked a similar path or offer new perspectives. The relationships you nurture can open doors you hadn't considered and offer insights you might not achieve alone. Smart connections can provide you a more dynamic view of your objectives and the courage to move when stagnant thoughts surround you. Develop a mindset that embraces failure as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Those who succeed are frequently the ones who have failed the most. They take missteps as lessons, reframing setbacks into strategies for future success. Treat each experience as a lesson in efficiency and adaptability. Financial literacy is another crucial skill. Intelligent planning and prudent management of resources do wonders in creating freedom from restrictive systems. Build wealth through investments that yield long-term benefits rather than short-lived gains. This does not only help in living free from financial constraints, but also leads to strategic independence to make decisions aligned with your passion. Lastly, never stop learning. Continuous education isn't confined to formal schooling. Read, engage with thought leaders, attend workshops, and seek knowledge outside your comfort zone. Feed your curiosity and remain flexible in your thinking. It's about acquiring knowledge that complements your skills and aligns with your goals. In crafting your reality, you're choosing to live by your terms, using your intellect as the architect of your life. Envision a reality that reflects who you are and the impact you want to have on the world. Master this mindset, and you will not just escape the system but flourish beyond it. Building a reality that aligns with your intelligence is just the beginning. Once you've shed the constraints of a limiting environment, the challenge is not merely to escape, but to excel and multiply your accomplishments. Enter the High IQ Playbook, a strategic approach to multiplying your success exponentially and achieving what once seemed impossible. A high level of intelligence, whether it be analytical, creative, or emotional, provides an edge. But intelligence on its own isn't enough. It needs direction, purpose, and most importantly, a method to convert potential into achievement. Here's how you can channel this exceptional capability to achieve greater success more efficiently. Firstly, let's talk about focus. The ability to focus is like a superpower. In a world filled with distractions, being able to concentrate on a singular goal propels you forward quickly. Start by identifying your primary objective. What is the one thing that, if accomplished, will move you 10 steps closer to where you want to be? Dedicate uninterrupted time to working on this, trimming away activities that consume your energy but provide little return. With focus comes prioritization. High intelligence often brings an avalanche of ideas, but can also lead to feeling overwhelmed. It's vital to distinguish between what's urgent and what's important. Create a list, categorize your tasks, and tackle them in order of importance, not urgency. This shift in mindset allows you to work ahead of the curve, rather than always playing catch-up. Another cornerstone of the High IQ Playbook is learning. Not just passive consumption of knowledge, but active, purposeful learning. Develop a habit of self-education that aligns with your goals. Equip yourself with skills that are not only relevant today, but will remain valuable in the future. This means staying curious and engaging in continuous learning processes, reading, experimenting, and reflecting on new experiences. Your network is another high IQ tool. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, challenge you, and support your growth. The power of community cannot be overstated. Intelligent individuals often prefer solitude, but collaboration can unlock new insights and opportunities. Seek connections with mentors, peers, and even competitors who push you to elevate your game. Now, let's address risk. High intelligence often predicts possibilities and consequences. It can make you cautious, sometimes too cautious. Learning to manage and embrace calculated risks is an important factor in achieving exponential success. Understand the risks involved, but don't let them paralyze you. Every great achievement carries an element of risk. Evaluate the impact and probability, but don't shy away from them. The concept of resourcefulness is a vital part of your strategy. Leverage your existing resources and be innovative in your approach. High intelligence means you can see possibilities others may overlook. Transform these into tangible outcomes by optimizing what you have at hand, whether it's time, technology, or people. Being creative and efficient in utilization can maximize your success rate. Don't underestimate the role of adaptability. While intelligence often lends itself to creating a detailed plan, the ability to pivot and adapt to changing circumstances is what maintains momentum. Be willing to adjust your methods, learn from unexpected outcomes, and modify your strategies. This flexibility ensures that temporary setbacks become stepping stones rather than roadblocks. Reflection and feedback are crucial components. Adopting a growth mindset that values feedback and criticism enables you to refine your approach. Regularly evaluate your progress, understand what's working, identify areas for improvement, and implement changes. High intelligence allows for high levels of self-awareness, which is your ultimate tool for continuous improvement. Lastly, never lose sight of the importance of time management. Mastering this helps convert your intelligence into tenfold achievements. Employ methods like time blocking, set realistic deadlines, and allocate time for both deep work and necessary breaks. This helps maintain mental clarity and prevents burnout. In the race to achieve success, applying these strategies effectively shortens your path. Intelligence is a formidable ally when combined with a system that directs it correctly. The high IQ playbook isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter and channeling your intelligence in a meaningful way. As you move forward, remember that success isn't a single destination. It's a series of milestones reached through smart decisions and persistent effort. The following section will discuss the inevitable challenges you'll face as the system may try to pull you back. But armed with this playbook, you will be well prepared to persist and succeed, no matter the odds. The path to controlling your energy and maintaining your focus is not a straightforward one. It requires consistent effort, perseverance, and an understanding of the obstacles that might arise. As you gain momentum and begin to see success, it might seem as though the sky's the limit. But be alert. The system is designed to pull you back into its comfort zone. Imagine you're racing on a track. As you pick up speed, there's a force trying to drag you back, to steady your pace, to keep you from reaching your full potential. This force is the system, and it's everywhere. It thrives on predictability, maintaining the status quo. It operates under the guise of convenience, ease, and habit. It tells you it's easier to fall back into old patterns, to let go of the energy you've cultivated. Remember those moments when you felt a sudden urge to procrastinate, right when you were about to achieve something significant. Or perhaps, whenever you've begun something new, it's like there's an invisible wall blocking your path. That's the system at work. It's not malicious, nor is it an entity conspiring against your progress. Rather, it's an ingrained resistance to change, fueled by fear and comfort. Every time you set a new goal or push past your current limits, it's as if an alarm goes off. The system becomes aware and intensifies its efforts. It begins with small distractions, a message notification here, another headline, catching your eyes. Your mind starts to wander, luring you into comfort-seeking habits. You might find yourself questioning whether the path ahead is truly worth it, using fatigue and doubt as deterrents. This invisible force doesn't operate alone. It recruits allies through external influences. People around you might unintentionally align with this system, urging you to take a break or advising you against taking risks. Society, norms, and sometimes even close friends can act as a tether, pulling you back to familiar grounds. Reassuring words under the guise of caution can turn into powerful anchors. The pull is strongest when you face setbacks or challenges. During moments of vulnerability, when the ease of returning to old ways seems most tempting, it demands the most discipline. It's in these moments your energy control is put to the test. As you learn to anticipate these spikes of resistance, you can better prepare yourself to overcome them. Recognize that your biggest defense is awareness. Being conscious of how this system operates gives you the upper hand. Notice the patterns and triggers. When distractions dance around you or doubt fills your mind, acknowledge them without giving in. See these occurrences for what they are, a sign of progress. It's ironic how this resistance is truly an indication that you're stepping closer to where you want to be. Create strategies to respond effectively. Each time you persist in the face of this force, you redefine your energy dynamics. Employ mindfulness, establish strong routines, and connect with like-minded individuals who understand and support your trajectory. These practices fortify your resilience against the subtle pulls backward. You're not alone in this battle. Every successful person has faced it and continues to face it. They too have resisted and managed their energy, choosing deliberate actions over automatic responses. Their stories affirm that this resistance is not undefeatable, but they require you to stand firm, to be proactive in your approach. Stay focused on your priorities and the bigger picture. Whenever you feel the pull, remind yourself why you started and where you wish to go. Your vision should outshine the temporary discomfort of pushing past the system's grip. Surround yourself with positive reminders and inspirations to keep you aligned and energized. The system will always try to pull you back, but you have the power to resist it with intentionality and grit. Every small victory over distractions and setbacks is a reinforcement of your energy control. Embrace these as opportunities to refine your process, as stepping stones toward achieving the success you envisioned. In this dance with the system, you're learning, growing, and adapting. As you master energy control, each attempt to pull you back becomes less potent, and your path forward becomes clearer and more intentional. Keep this in mind. It's not about battling the system, but rather moving through it with poise and direction. The system around us constantly pushes and pulls, trying to mold everyone into a single norm. It's all about fitting into certain boxes, about following the designated path without questioning where it leads. Yet, each of us possesses a unique tool that can break through this mold: our intelligence. Intelligence isn't just about knowing facts or solving equations. It's the ability to think critically, to analyze what's presented, and to make informed choices. In moments when everything seems stagnant, it's easy to let this asset lay dormant. We might follow routines without questioning them, adhere to traditions because they're familiar, accepting what's right in front of us rather than looking beyond. The pull of the familiar is strong, offering comfort and ease. However, true growth lies beyond this comfort zone. It's about questioning the systems in place, not as a rebel without a cause, but as someone seeking truth and improvement. Imagine walking through life without a map, making choices that shape your reality. Your intelligence is this map, guiding you to make choices that aren't just reactive but strategic. It turns decisions into opportunities, challenges into lessons. Each choice is a chance to shape your future deliberately, to carve your own path, rather than being confined to the one laid out before you. Knowledge exists in abundance all around us: books, conversations, experiences, and mistakes, all providing lessons. But merely gathering knowledge isn't enough. It requires applying what we learn, taking insights from various sources, and creating something new from them. Intelligence means synthesizing this information to navigate our journey with insight and wisdom. One of the greatest challenges is often overcoming the inertia that holds us back. This inertia is the voice that says, "This is how it's always been done," or "Why bother changing?" It's the comfort of routine, the predictability of habits that makes us resistant to change. Yet intelligence is about seeking beyond this, questioning conventions, and being curious about different perspectives. Making use of this asset requires courage. It involves stepping out of the comfort zone, accepting that with every decision, there may be failures or setbacks. It's about viewing these not as defeats, but as stepping stones to refined strategies, as lessons that refine our thinking further. And yes, intelligence is about collaboration too. It thrives when shared, expanding when ideas are exchanged. Discussions, debates, and differing views help sharpen it. While each person's insight is unique, together they can form a broader understanding of challenges and solutions. This collective intelligence can lead to more innovative ideas, solve problems faster, and often more effectively than working alone. Moreover, understanding oneself is vital in applying intelligence effectively. Recognizing your strengths, acknowledging areas for improvement, and building from there is crucial. It's about knowing when to seek guidance and when to trust your intuition. It means being aware of biases that might cloud judgment and striving to overcome them. In facing choices, whether in personal life, career, or social responsibilities, your asset is how you weigh options, foresee potential outcomes, and align choices with values and goals. Often, the easy path is tempting, the one that requires the least resistance. However, your intelligence sees the benefit of the road less traveled if it aligns better with your long-term vision. In this fast-paced world, being aware of the energy around us and within us is equally important. How we manage our mind and motivation directly impacts how effectively we use our intelligence. Self-care, balance, and mental wellness are integral to maintaining our cognitive sharpness and decision-making abilities. While intelligence can set the course, energy controls how swiftly and effectively we move along it. The synergy of these aspects can be powerful, ensuring that each step taken is purposeful and aligned with your intrinsic goals. Life doesn't offer certainty. The path may often diverge in unexpected ways. Yet, with intelligence as your guide, you have the tool to adapt and turn uncertainty into opportunity, crafting a life reflective of not just what you've been given, but what you've deliberately chosen. If you've made it this far, you're not like the rest. Most people never wake up to the truth, but you just did. You see through the distractions, the lies, the system designed to keep you small. Now it's time to take action. Type "out now" in the comments right now to declare that you refuse to be controlled. This isn't just a comment, it's a signal, a sign to others that you're one of the few who actually get it. The world will take notice, but don't stop there. Like this video if you're ready to break free. Subscribe for more hidden knowledge that they don't want you to know. Turn on notifications because what's coming next will change everything.